Welcome back to the channel, guys. Budget Koi Keeper. I just want to start the video by saying a massive thank you to everyone that's commented, subscribed, liked the video, and all the great comments I've had. It really means a lot, and it gives you sort of the push that I needed to start making more content and better content. As the videos go on, I'm sure the editing will get a bit better. It is blowing a hoolie today, so I've literally got the microphone on. The tripod might move a little bit just because it really is blowing a right hoolie. So without further ado, we'll get on to the video. We'll do a bit more talking about the pond and a few of the budget bargains that I've got this weekend off of Facebook Marketplace. But yeah, we'll get on with the video. So this is the budget bargains. As you know, I love building the koi pond. I love my fish completely, and everything that comes with koi seems to have what I say at the end of it, koi tax. So that's what gives me the push to sort of build a budget pond and try and do everything on a budget. As I've said before in the previous video, I have got a family, a house, two young boys, excuse me. So everything I do with the pond, it's got to be in fitting with the family and everything like that. I can't go throwing thousands at a pond. As much as I love my fish and I love keeping koi, I can't throw thousands of pounds of money at the pond. So everything I do is on a budget. So this is what I'm going to call the budget bargains. So starting off, I got this pump straight off of Facebook Marketplace with a controller. This is what I wanted to get. My idea for the pond is to get a retro bottom drain fitted. I really, if I'd have thought more about it when I first built the pond, I should have fitted a bottom drain to the cement underneath when I first done the base, but at the time it was a cost that I really didn't want to come across. So I built it how I did. I've got no regrets with the pond. I mean, I love it completely. The fish are happy, so you know, it's one of them things. But definitely a retro bottom drain is the way I'm going to go with the pond. So this is the pump I've got for the time being. It did come with other fittings on it, but I had this fitting already in the man cave where I keep all my bits. So I've fitted this one, and I've got a little another screw-on fitting there that I'm going to get, which will just angle it more to the floor. So if you imagine my hand being the bottom of the pond, it's just going to pull it from the bottom. None of my fish are that small that I'm going to worry that they will get trapped in this at all. And like I say, with the controller, it makes my life so much easier, because running it how I am, from a pump pumping from the bottom of the pond up to a gravity fed filter, I can't be putting big pumps and that on it. If I can't control it, it will just flood over the multi-bay, and then I'm in big problems. It happened before once. I had a really cold spell. I'm not quite sure what happened, but it started flooding over. We didn't know. Time we come back, I was sort of down to here with the water level. So luckily we did get back early enough. But these are things that I think a pump will stop with me from having any of these problems in the future. And I paid a grand total of £80 for this, which I thought was a really good deal considering the price they are new. So yeah, it's brand new second hand to me, and it would definitely come in handy, and I'm going to be fitting it very, very soon, more than likely today, and I'll try and get it in the video as long as the wind doesn't blow me, the pond and the garden away with the wind we're having. Second thing on the agenda that I got for the pond, another brand new second-hand air pump. As I said before in the previous video, I did want a bigger air pump. I'm running the Eco Filtration air ring on it, which is a massive shout out to them, by the way, as well, because that air ring is literally the bee's knees. It does everything that I wanted it to do. I wanted the effect of having a bottom drain in the pond without having one, and the air stones just weren't cutting it. So as soon as I fitted that ring in, it literally does the business. So yeah, this is a bigger air pump. The guy said to me he's had it for a year or so. It still looks all good. It all works and everything. I have double checked it. So I'm going to link this up to the air ring and do a video of that and show you what the air ring looks like now. But yeah, I got this for a grand total of £40, which I thought was an absolute bargain. I think retail these were £130, £140. So it's a good saving there on a brand new second-hand air pump. So that was another bonus. And then today when I went and got some bits for the air pump, I just wanted a reducer because I'm running a 4mm airline and this is a 20, so I wanted to reduce it down, which I picked up today. I had a quick little nose through the little basket they have right near the tills. It's all just the reduced sections and that. I haven't got any problems with the pond at the moment, touch wood, But this is definitely something I've used before, Evolution Aqua. I think all their products are really good and I really rate them. And this was £19 reduced to £3, and it doesn't run out to the end of the year. So if I do get any problems, that's my first call. I always keep these in the man cave just in case you run into problems. The last thing you want to do if you get a fish out, take a scrape, you find the problem and then you've got nothing to treat it with till, I don't know when the shop's open. Let's say it's a Sunday when you find it and you've got to wait till Monday, or it's a late Saturday and you've got to wait Sunday until Monday. So I like to keep things like this, and for £3 you definitely cannot go wrong. So that was another little bargain of the day that I got from the pond. I'm just going to put all of these together quickly and get a thumbnail because I think it looks pretty good. But yeah, we'll crack on with the video. So there we are, guys. The new air pump is fitted. As you can see, the ring is literally bringing any debris off the surface straight up into the air. Exactly what I wanted. Don't get me wrong, there wasn't anything actually wrong with the old pump, but I just feel like the air that I could be pushing through the ring, which I am now, will definitely help the fish in the summertime. You know, in my eyes, you can't have enough air going through the system. So yeah, ultra pleased with that. And like I say, it was an absolute bargain at £40 that I had to have. There is going to be a few people that say, you know, oh, you buy a second hand, it might only last a year. If it lasts a year, and in my eyes, I'll buy another one in a year's time for the same sort of money at £80 for 2 pumps in 2 years, that's still nearly half of what they are new. So, you know, don't always be put off by second hand. I mean, a lot of the stuff on this pond, 80% of this pond is built by second hand things. So yeah, like I say, don't be put off by it, because in the long run, it might not. You know, it's all well and good saying, oh, well, it might break, but on the other hand, it might not break. So sometimes it's worth the risk, and if it's cheap enough, it's definitely worth the risk, you know. Right, so now we've got the new air pump all set up, and it's puffing away like no tomorrow there, as you can see in the background. Little things that I do in the pond as we're now sort of transferring over to nearly summer. A lot of the things I do now that I'm feeding a bit more wheat germ than what I was. I mean, throughout the winter, the fish don't have any wheat germ right over December period and everything like that. Right till my levels come up to sort of about 10.5, I'm happy to put a little bit of wheat germ in, and then as the weather gets better, I just start trickling a little bit more in. But we'll talk about food in a bit. But these are little things that I combat as we're going into summer, and you start getting your water clarity a bit better and things like that. These are essential. I've run out as I put some in the filter today, but the Evolution Aqua Pure Balls, I swear by these, and I've literally, anytime I do a bit of cleaning and I can't see any around in my hard standing media, I'll always chuck a couple more in. You know, it's a bit like an old wife's tale, isn't it? Whether they do work is down to me. On there it says that it's proven to work, so I've always put them in, and touch wood again, I tend not to get too many problems with the pond. I've had my fair share of bits go wrong, you know, but I always think you learn by things that go wrong in life, especially when it comes to koi ponds and keeping any sort of fish. When things do go wrong, you learn to combat them and you learn situations to get rid of them. So like I say, they are, for me, a must. They go straight into the filter and they just keep everything running tickety-boo. When you come over to the skimmer, like I said in the last video that I put up, the skimmer, it is an electronic one. Again, it wasn't a thing that I fitted to the pond. Again, it's an afterthought. Everything seems to be, and the more people I go and speak to about ponds and how they set their pond up, a lot of everything after is an afterthought. They think, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that. So, you know, it comes to everyone. No one is perfect to the end of the day, and these are all things that as you're growing into the hobby and things get bigger and better, you know, you learn different ways of combating things. So at the moment, the skimmer, it's running itself in there a minute, a bit of black filter mesh. I don't like to put anything too thick in there. Sometimes I run a bit of jack mat through it, but the black mesh seems to do it good, and it doesn't create too much of a back pull on it where it starts sort of playing up a little bit. All I do on top of that, I buy a huge roll of filter floss. It sounds a bit overkill for it, but I buy the 1 metre roll of filter floss, and I cut a load of little squares like this. And especially when I start to feed more and throughout the summer months, I chuck one of these in. I always make sure I'm around when I put one of these in. I only run it for about maybe 2 to 3 hours. But I just make sure I'm around so that it doesn't suck too much crap in. I mean, when I take these out, these are normally like filled, green, locked right up, and it's basically just skimming off the top of the pond. anything laying on the top. With an air ring now that's pumping out like that, any debris on the bottom comes right up to the top. It's not the world's longest pond in the world, so 9 times out of 10 it hits the skimmer straight away, and it's just something that I can keep my eye on. And for me, it gives my water a real crystal clean, almost, as a carp angler would say as myself, gin clear water. And I really do think it's down to putting the filter floss in. Like I say, I wouldn't just go chucking it in my filter box and walking away from it, because you can start to get your filter box to back up, and then it can overflow if you're running a setup like that. But no, it's definitely something that I put through, and I think it gives my water the edge of being just that little bit more clearer. But there's all little things you work out as you go on. I'm not saying it's going to work for everyone. For me, it's just something I do, and it does work. So, going on from the food situation and what I feed the koi, this is just a question I get asked a hell of a lot. Like I say, I do a lot of videos on TikTok, and I get asked all the time, what food do you feed through winter? What food do you feed through summer? People seem to be stumped on it. I mean, there is so much out there, and I'm not saying this is for everyone and, you know, this is the go-to food. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying my personal preference. This is what I feed the koi on, and this is how much I feed my koi on. So throughout the winter, ignore the tub. This is just a generic tub that I use. This is the Cockney Koi wheat germ. I feed this in the smallest pellet they sell it in, which I believe is the 5mm, just because I don't like to put too much into the pond during winter, especially when the fish really, like I say, I don't feed unless my temperature's reading above 10.5. So I don't really put a lot in. This is my little measurer, and I literally only put 2 of these in, and then as the weather gets on, I'll add maybe 1, 2, right up to sort of like however much I see the fish feeding. I'm not one for just throwing food in. I don't throw food in and walk away from the pond. I never have, and for that sake I haven't got an auto feeder, because the pond isn't really big, and I've not got huge filtration. I mean, it is still a big filter system I've got on there, but it's not humongous, so I don't like to chuck too much food in there that might not get eaten, especially when it comes to the summer. I do like to watch it. It's one of the bits I like about the hobby is watching the fish feed. You know, I think as well, if you've got any problems in the pond, a telltale sign is, for me, if one of the fish aren't feeding and they're sitting down the bottom, normally questions are going to be asked by myself of what's going on, why is the fish not feeding, and then I'll monitor that fish from there. But like I say, this is the Cockney Koi wheat germ. I love Cockney Koi products, as you can probably tell from everything I've got on the pond, but I do love their products, and especially their food range. The koi I've got really seem to like it, so that's the wheat germ that I feed throughout. In the summer, it is a very different story. So that is the bag that it came in. The only reason I put it in there is just because I leave it in the little filter box. I don't like to chance any animals and things coming through. But in here, just give it a big mix round. It's not been mixed for a while. But in here, as you can see, there is a little bit of everything in here. So the sticks are the Cockney Koi sticks. I believe that's just a multivitamin food that you can give your koi. But getting right through, there's some small grains of the Cockney Koi. I think it's a specimen mix or special mix, they call it. They're normally multicoloured. You can tell that by there's some reds in there. There's little blues in there, greens in there, things like that. Again, I don't like to just pack them full of growth foods and things like that and high proteins. I like to give them a bit of variety when I'm feeding them, especially in the summer. I think it's very easy to just think, oh, summer's here, I'll pack on the protein foods and things like that, which a lot of them as well, when you start reading into the back of the packets and you're buying a real, you know, like a real fast gaining weight food, or so they say, a lot of them in there, I'm not going to go into names and things, but especially from what I've read, it isn't really that good. I mean, there is some real good products out there, don't get me wrong, but some of the cheaper brands, not naming all of them, but you know, some of the cheaper ones, it's not good what you're packing into your koi in there. So that's why I try and stick with the Cockney Koi, because you know their products are really good, especially their Bombay mix. My koi love the Bombay mix in the summer, but like I say, I try and mix it right up. So in here I've got some Nishi Koi Ultimate Growth. I've got some Yamato, I believe that's the word, don't hold me to that on the translation of it, but I think it is Yamato, which is the Colour Ultimate, which is like a colour enhancer, which should bring the best out of the fish. Also in there as well, there is another mix of the Cockney Koi. There's some Burton's, I think that's like a wheat germ substitute in there, everything like that. Like I say, I'm not a professional when it comes to it. This is just, I'm a hobbyist, and these are just things that I've come across. And since I've been doing this, I mean, this bucket normally is full. Last summer I've come down to sort of half a bucket. I'm not a massive one. These are not show fish. I'm not going out there to show them, you know, so weight, size and everything like that isn't as important as health to me. So there is an element of you know, size and growth in there, but more is size, growth and health, and showing the pure quality of the fish, really. So, you know, I'm not one for just banging a load of protein food in there, and that is more why the mix is so different for me. It's like I like to give them a bit of choice, bit of selection. I've got a couple of koi in there that, you know, it's funny because people say, oh, they'll eat anything. Yeah, they don't. I've got a couple in there that they almost pinpoint pick what it is they're taking off the surface. I don't put any sinking foods in there at all. That's just, again, from my point of view. I don't want to be turning off the pump and things like that. So the sinking foods for me, when I used it before, it just ended up right at the pump and then started clogging up the actual cage on the pump with food inside it. So I knocked that one on the head and I went over to this. As I say, this isn't me saying, you know, get on this food. I'm just personally showing you a lot of the questions I get asked are on what food I feed the koi. So this is what I feed him. It's a right mix. I mean, it goes from the stick size to right down to sort of the 2-3 mil pellet. But they absolutely love it. And the whole thing with the little food for me is that you can feed them for longer periods of time. I've got friends of mine that have got nice koi ponds, and they say they love feeding the fish, but then when they're feeding the bigger food to them, sort of like going right up to sort of like the 8 mil and things, it goes so quick. I know Nishi Koi do a big one, which is the red pellets, and they are a big size. I believe they're near on 10 mil. So, you know, you've got to always remember what you're feeding in. If you like watching them, then I drop down to a smaller food grain because it doesn't get lost in the pond anywhere, and I can monitor how much they're eating and I can enjoy it for a lot longer. And at the end of the day, that's what I've got the koi for, is the enjoyment. And the whole thing in the hobby is to enjoy the fish, enjoy the time out here with the pond. Like I said in my last video, to me it's like a slice of paradise, dealing with work, customers, things like that. I come home, I sit by the pond and I can just chill out, you know, and watch the fish. And that is why I feed them the smaller pellet, because it does stump a lot of people why they're good sized fish in there, you know. So why do I feed them such a small size food? But that's it for me. It's just I can feed them that little bit more without overfeeding them. So that's my food side of things. Like I say, don't take it for, you know, you've got to feed your koi on that. You feed your koi on what you believe is right for you and what you want to gain out of the hobby. But for me, these are the two I stick with. Like I say, Cockney Koi, they do a real good mix on everything like that. So in the last video, I did show off the free bay, but I didn't really show you inside it. So this is the mechanics as such of my free bay filter. So in the start, I've just got your normal bristles, brushes. They just pick up all the normal crap and that comes in, and they're the first sort of hit that it takes. Then it comes through in mine into Jap mat. Now I've cut all the Jap mat out into squares. I actually saw this on another video, so this isn't how mine come when it was first set. I saw this on someone else's video. I can't remember your name, so I'm sorry about that, but he had cut it into squares. As you can see, there's a bit of debris and that on there, but these are actually squares that I've slipped in. So it goes 2 small ones, a full one, 3 small ones, a full one, 3 small ones, a full one, like that. And I just feel like, for me, since I've done that, my water clarity has been good, so I'm not going to change it. If it's not broken, don't fix it, sort of thing. So that's the way I look at it with that. And then in the bottom, last bay, it's just got some hard stand media underneath these black mats. I put the rocks on top now only because, as I said earlier in the video, I did have a problem once where I believe the black mat come up and it went over the top of the outlet, and that's what created that problem like that. So yeah, that is inside the filter. Again, it's only just a quick show of it. It's just another question I frequently get asked about, and you know, what do I have in there? Do I run this? Do I run that? Me personally, I don't run much more than what I've got in there. I tried having this out before. I had the jack mat up this end. How did I have it? No, I had that there. I had a mesh cover over this, and then I had K1 in here with an air pump running. For me, again, it just didn't work. I'm not saying that doesn't work for everyone. I love trying new things and little different things in the pond to see what it does. That's another thing I love about the hobby. You know, you can make it your own and mod and adapt things, and that is what I did try. But I've gone back to the ever faithful black mat in there, and it seems to be running fine. It's been like this for about a year now. It's done a good winter. I do need to get it stripped and have a clean, but I don't like to clean it too much. This was the problem when I first started the hobby, and I classed this as my first proper filter. Before that, I started on just the small compression tank filters, things like that. But this is what I classed as my first proper filter, you know. And I tried loads of things, and what I found my problem was I was cleaning the filter, sorry, so much that no good bacteria was ever growing in there, because I'm constantly stripping it, cleaning it, stripping it, cleaning it, you know, and that was my biggest problem. And speaking to my local koi dealer, he said to me, no, it is basically a mini ecosystem living in here, and to put it bluntly, it needs some crap to make it good. As funny as that sounds, that's what makes it run at its best. So yeah, little tip for anyone out there who's starting, you know, don't heavily clean these all the time. You know, when they need a clean, you'll know, but don't keep stripping them down, cleaning them. Everything I do now, I literally clean within this setup. Underneath here, I just take these panels off. I've got 3 release drains where you can drain it out, and it runs straight down into a soak away that I've got under there. It's like one of the ones you'd have on your driveway, the Acco drain style. And I drain it all into there, and then I literally leave one full up, and then I backwash this one through straight into waste. I backwash this one straight through into waste, and then I just take the black mat off and I wash it inside my big koi bowl with its own water. I never use just tap water or, you know, anything like that. I always use just the pond water. But the only reason I backwash these ones is because these have got good bacteria in them, as well as my hard stand media under this one. And the hard stand will just get a backwash. The black mat, it traps so much little particles and things like that. That's why I get that one out and I actually wring it through and give it a right wash like that. These two, the jack mat, I literally backwash it. And that is literally, as I say, I just pour a bucket of pond water straight over the top. Same with the brushes. I just don't like to disturb it too much. And since I've done that, which was about 2 years ago, and I've gone to not stripping it right down and cleaning it right out. Don't get me wrong, if there was like a load of debris around the side, I would clean the sides. But as it stands, I don't really strip it down and I don't clean it too bad. Tripod's wobbling a lot there. Sorry about that, guys. It is still blowing a hoolie. So yeah, but yeah, I don't strip it right down anymore. Like I say, I've got the twin UV set up, which I'll be linking the 30 watt back up for this summer. As I said, I dropped down to the 55 throughout the winter, and then I'll go back concurrently to both of them. I just need to plumb it back in. I just don't like any water running through it. Even if it's off, I just think it's a waste to run all crap through. I've took these bulbs out before and they've been covered in, I believe they're callists and things like that, the little sort of insects that live in the water, and the larvae. They all get round it, especially when it's not on. So I don't like to run it through if they're not on. I'll just take the pipe work away and I'll run singly. That is really wobbling at the moment. I've got a feeling the tripod's going to go. So I don't know what it looks like from your point of view. So I am sorry if it's really wobbling. But like I say, that is a small but in-depth view of the filter system I run. There's nothing complicated about it at the end of the day. I personally, I don't know enough about a drum filter or all of these other nexuses and things to run it. This is as bog standard as you can get it. Water comes in this side, it goes underneath the splitter and comes back up into this side. It overfills and then it runs into this, and this just skims off any protein and it runs up the pipe from underneath. So if you get an overflow the way it's running as well, it will start getting it out. But sometimes if it's real bad, it won't get it out, you know. But yeah, it's not complicated. And at the end of the day, this is a section I love of koi keeping. I love to be able to strip this all down. I love to be able to clean each bit. and backwash them like I do, because it's just, I'm a bit weird. Some people in the hobby, they just like to turn the drum filter on and let it do its cycle. You know, for me, it's cleaning this, it's seeing how much debris in there. It's, you know, oh, you know, I've got more in there than normal. What have I done differently? Things like that. So that is just my point of the hobby. It is very old, and like I say, the whole pond itself is never going to be to everyone's taste. That, again, that's another point I like about koi keeping. It's the same as fish. Fish are never going to be what koi people really like is never the same as what the next person likes. So in the hobby, it is, you make it your own, and I love an old setup. I love all the Cockney Koi products. You know, you can't fault them in my eyes. So yeah, for me, this is the filter I like. I've changed it around so many times. I've had a big vortex here instead, and run a smaller free bay and everything like that. And every time I've gone back to this, I bought this brand new. This is probably one of the most dearest bits of the pond I bought, was all of this setup that was in it. And I got that from my local koi dealers down the road. Big shout out to Manor Koi. And yeah, I love this side of it. For me, it did have the UV fixed on the back, and then when I moved it all around, because it used to be at the other end, I found it easier to have the UVs on the wall, or on the fence, should I say. I'm making it out to be something it's not. It is a fence, and yeah, they're fixed on the fence. But yeah, it's just a point that I like, is cleaning all this out. I like to be able to see what it's doing. And in the summer, I will put a bit of floss in here, but I don't, like I say, I don't like to walk away from it when it's got floss in it, because problems can occur. So that's a little look into the filter and what goes on in it and what I like to do with it. So yeah, hope that answered the question for everyone there. So before we end the video, I know it's been a bit of an up and down video. You've seen this, you've seen that, and it's not been the best content in the world, but it is just more of an insight to the pond. Where I want to go in the future with the pond, what I really want to do, as I said earlier, is I want to fit a retrofit bottom drain. So I'll be on to Eco Filtration for one of those. I've seen them and they're at really good prices on there as well. Like I say, if you get a chance, if you're building a pond, or even if you need just a couple of fittings and things, definitely check out Eco Filtration, because I was blown away with how much they've got, and the prices of things is so much better. I like to support my local koi shops and koi dealers, obviously, but with prices like that, sometimes, you know, you're better off. And the delivery is super fast. Like the earring I got off of them, it was here within 2 days, and I think I ordered it that night. Probably had a couple of beers and decided that's what I wanted. So yeah, but yeah, where I'm going with the pond, I want to fit the retrofit bottom drain. I like the idea of them. It works in effect as the bottom drain, as a drain would, but it's just external out of the pump rather than being internal under the ground. So that's where I want to go with that. I've been looking at other little bits I want to do. I've had an idea for the skimmer, which I'm thinking about putting a pump, a different pump in it, and then I can put one of the smaller flexi hoses on, and maybe having a backy shower over in this corner, with some more media in there. In my eyes, a backy shower, I love the idea of them, and it's definitely something I'm going to do. Whether I do it DIY style or I buy a brand new second-hand one, we'll leave that down to whatever comes up first. I don't know, put it in the comments, see what you guys think. Would you like to see me build a DIY one? There is a lot of videos out there of building them, and I'm not bad at the DIY stuff, so I might build one of them. But no, as I say, that's what I'm up against at the moment. Maybe a backy shower on this corner, not a massive one, just a little 2-tier one. So I do think it probably will have to be DIY, being the size it is. But maybe a backy shower, definitely the retrofit bottom drain. As it goes on and it gets a bit warmer, I'm definitely going to get the fish out, because they came out at the start of last summer. I had the fish out and I measured them up. Obviously I didn't have the YouTube channel then, so definitely something I want to show you guys is the size of the fish, because it looks deceiving. You know, they are a lot bigger. I think my biggest last year was in there. Thought the tripod was going to go again. I am so sorry about the wind. I'm not in control. I'm good, but I'm not that good. But yeah, last time I got them out, I think my platinum ogon in there, he was at 42 centimeters. So I've got it all written down, so I will go through it when we do the video of that and the size difference that they've gained. And that'll be a real telltale if you know everything's going well, and I'll have a good look over them, because it's been a hard winter this year for them down here where we are. It's been very cold. We've had -4 more than 5 times, so they've gone through it all. It's not a heated pond. It is as straightforward as it comes. But yeah, so I'll be doing a video on that, getting them out, bowling them up, and show you guys so you can see them. Yeah, and I just want to progress with the channel. You know, like I say, that the feedback I've had from the channel and the comments I've had has been absolutely, it's blown me away. I couldn't believe how many people enjoyed it. Like I say, it's not to everyone's taste, this pond, so I was quite shocked of how many people did like it. But it really means a lot when you get the good positive comments like that, and you see the new people subscribing. You know, every little bit helps. Even if you haven't got a comment, even just subscribing helps me to see how many people this reaches, and what more I can do. I'm going to do another video as well where I run through the cost of the pond, how much everything's cost and what I built it out of and everything like that. So, you know, comment down below if you want to see more videos like that. I really want you guys to interact as well and tell me, what do you want to see from the pond and the videos? You know, if you want to see a video of how much it all costs and how it was built and what I built it out of, just let me know in the comments. I can make things like this happen, and it's easier for me. Sometimes it's hard. This video today seems like it's been a bit of flicking from here and there, and you know, oh, I got this, I got that, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to start building some real solid videos about the fish, about the pond, and yeah, where I want to go from there. Like I say, definitely retro bottom drain is the way I'm going for. And yeah, massive thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed. And if you can like and subscribe from this video, ring the bell, that is even better for me, because then you can keep up to date with everything that happens in the pond. And yeah, we'll keep the channel moving, guys. Thank you ever so much.